Hello everyone and welcome back. We have another fantastic bang of a build using Titans, but this time we're looking at the incredible Storm Keys aspect that's only been released. This aspect allows us to get near infinite bolt charges over time, and pairing this up with Thunderlord and Cuirass of the Fallen Star provides an incredibly potent DPS build for not just us, but for everyone near us. If you're in the space of updating your DPS builds for new encounters, then this heavy hitter of a build is going to be the saviour you're looking for. So, starting with the exotic armor, Cuirass of the Fallen Star, with its exotic effect, Glorious Charge, it states, it greatly increases your Thunderclass damage and grants you damage resistance after impact. Melee thunder blows while amplified grants you super energy. Since we are focusing on the DPS build, the following is a great pairing to use with the new aspect and Thunderlord in hand. This will maximize our damage by quite a considerable amount, even though it won't benefit from the Storm Keys effect. However, considering how fast we can garner our super energy back, even without the use of super gem mods, I can see this being quite favourable for pulling off 1 to 2 supers in one singular boss phase, but only if you could pull it off fast enough. Our second exotic is Thunderlord, with its exotic effect, Reign of Havoc, which states, a final blows with this weapon generates stunning lightning strikes from above. Lightning strikes grants a stack of bolt charge, strong against overload champions. With our abilities and such sorted through the use of fragments and aspects, the Thunderlord is going to be the perfect match for escalating our damage even more with bolt charges applied. Thunderlord already conjures a mini bolt charge upon landing precision hits, but applying our new aspect to the weapon will allow us to conjure 2 Thunderbolts back to back, and more, with one being much stronger than the latter. On top of that, Thunderlord also regenerates ammo upon landing multiple precision hits on a long and consistent flow of firepower. We can maintain a high firepower rate from our end alone, until we run out of heavy ammo. This is quite honestly the most insane combo you'll practically want to use all the time with the build. For aspects and fragments, we have the following. A Storm Keeps, where casting a class ability will grant you and allies a moderate amount of bolt charges over time. At max stacks, you can use your weapons to activate them, or abilities. Knockout, where critically wounding a target will increase your melee damage and start regenerating your health. Spark of Ions, where defeating jolted targets creates ion traces. Spark of Recharge, where while critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy recharges faster. A Spark of Discharge, where your arc weapon fighting blows have a chance to create ion traces. A Spark of Frequency, where melee hits increase your weapon stability and reload speed for a few seconds. While amplified, the effects are increased and you gain increased bolt charges from all sources. It's similar to the recent arc warlock build we did a while back. Having Spark of Frequency is a must if you wish to build up bolt charges relatively fast while using Storm Keeps. Now, if you have a weapon that has Rolling Storm perk as well for the build, then that will massively help out as well, although this isn't needed when you have the following on hand. Actively, you'll be generally sitting around your barricade for 8 out of 10 times of an encounter you're in, so matching this with fragments and weapons that benefit this approach is highly recommended. I also recommend you use Spark of Discharge in the build as well, as this will grant you ion traces and bolt charges as well. Although this will require arc weapon finder blows to achieve this, it's still a beneficial fragment that will help you out in between encounters. Now, Ions and Recharge also benefit the build as well, but potentially you can add on Spark of Protection in the build for that extra level of defense you might need when DPSing. While you may be safe up front, you are left exposed from behind, which can cause a wide number of problems if you're not monitoring respawning enemies from behind. This is just a thought to keep in mind, as the build is sufficient enough to survive many things thrown at you, but even then, not everyone can deal with the multiple enemies at once. For the mods and stats, both Resilience and Discipline will be the 2 stats to invest in the most. Strength also plays a part, but it will play a small role in the build. Resilience at tier 10 will be giving you a 30% damage reduction and a 22-second cooldown when using rally barricades. Ideally, getting the rally barricade back up and running is quite easy because of its low cooldown rate. You don't really need to add more mods to the further area to reduce its rate even more, although it's up to you since we do have ion traces and Spark of Recharge available to generally fill in the gap. Now, tier 8 and 9 Resilience is also fine to also run with. Our Discipline is at tier 10 for a 1 minute 1 second cooldown using our pulse grenades. Although it has a high cooldown rate, this can be easily negated with the fragments and mods we have available. Just Spark of Recharge alone will grant us a 400% ability cooldown once our health reaches critical, which is honestly going to be quite often depending on where you use the build. You also have ion traces which will be generated over time, and our mods which will buff our grenades cooldown even more. This is ultimately all you need to get your grenades back more freely and available over time, but of course it can be even faster with certain exotics available, such as Heart of Inmost Light. So to expand on the abilities being used, we then have the following. Impact Induction ×2 for a 17% grenade ability buff, Momentum Transfer ×1 for a 12% melee ability regen buff, and Bomber for a 12% grenade ability regen buff as well, is generally what I would aim for. The additional mods, we have the following. Harmonic Siphon for create orbs of power via matching elemental weapons, Heavy Ammo Finder ×2, Reserves and Scourging mods for a heavy weapon, Charged Up for a +1 armor charge, Arc Surge for a 10% arc weapon buff, although ×2 is also available, a Powerful Traction for automatically collecting orbs of power when using a class ability, and Reaper when using a class ability, and then Net Kill will generate an orb of power. So as we have covered our exotic heavy weapon, I would then advise you to pick some super weapons for the build. What I recommend are all optional, so please keep this in mind. Our primary is the Unworthy Scout Rifle with Precision Instrument and Ambitious Assassin. So there are two versions of weapons I've gotten that I personally like, which is this one, and the other one that has Rolling Storm and Rapid Hit on it. My current one is ideal for encounters and works perfectly with Stormkeep's effect, since the damage I'm stacking is small, but noticeable over the long run. My other version with Rolling Storm would be more ideal for the build if I intend to use bolt charges continuously, which is true for the build as well. Now, since I can swap in between, it might be best you follow a similar path by investing in getting a Psycho Pump with Rolling Storm perk. It's a good combo that allows you to build up bolt charges relatively quickly, and it's quite easy to farm for the perfect role that you want. As secondary, we have the Deliverance with Chill Clip and Demolitionist. Pairing this up with Parkour Deconstruction Seedle mod, it creates a devastating weapon that is perfect against near everything you face. Chill Clip paired with Parkour will freeze and debuff any target caught by us, while also being handy for damaging certain bosses who need to be deleted as soon as possible. Since this weapon is raid exclusive, the Riptide with Shax is a good replacement with similar perks, but a faster charge time. So Stormkeeps is quite honestly the best aspect that Bungie has released as of date, and I'm really surprised it's taken them this long to introduce it at all. The amount of counters available, where Titans tend to use the Rally Barricades for its fast reload speed, for a team DPS phase is quite honestly high. Everyone benefits from it, and although Barricades have gotten reduced health as of recently, they are still favourable to play with today. So adding an aspect that not only enhances everyone's firepower via bolt charges is not only smart, but also allows Titans to fit more and more into their DPS role whenever they like. For example, our build is using pretty much the best items around to maximise their damage encounters, which includes Thunderlord for that ongoing and continuous damage flow, Cuirass for that 55% Thunder Crash increased damage, my chosen infusion that has Chill Clip and Parkour Deconstruction Season mod attached, and my personal weapon that has selected perks that increases damage indirectly or builds up bolt charges. All of these will get a huge buff once my Rally Barricade is up and running, and you don't even need the add-on surges because of how strong the aspect and build is. Now, I've used this in a new dungeon for this second and last encounter, and while ammo for heavy and special may have a problem at times, I ended up coming out with the highest damage around, and that's all part of Stormkeep's benefits. And while I do like using Prismatic with Consecration, it's a nice breath of fresh air to see the original subclass get some facelift over time. Our subclass and the Arc Titans are still a powerhouse with everything being offered, and compared to all the other subclasses in the game, now is honestly the perfect time to use them with how incredibly powerful and now versatile they can be for endgame content. Like shown, the build is perfect for boss encounters alike. So there we have it. I hope you all enjoyed the build breakdown. If you have any thoughts on the content shared, then please leave a comment below. While at the same time, if you enjoy the content and want more of these videos in the future, then leave a like and sub while you're here. Dim link is located below in the pin section. I do recommend you have a look at my playlist available as well. It was great sharing today's video with you all, and I hope to see you again soon.